Hi guys, welcome back to the Call Me Other podcast. It is one and only Faith here, and welcome to the second episode of the year. It is the first week in March. I cannot believe it. It is March 7th as I'm recording this, because I know people are going to be like, it's definitely March, whatever day I upload this. But guys, I definitely want to welcome you back to my podcast because it has been a while. I did a top of the year episode, and in the top of the year, of course, I moved to Green Bay. And had a lot of changes. I went through training, went through life adjustment, really. So I had a lot of changes happen. And I think going through those changes, I got lazy. Personally, I wasn't persistent. I did the Black History Honors, which I love, Black History Month Trailblazers. That's what I did for Black History Month. So every day in February, I uploaded a video and I honored someone. So we did a little bit of everybody. And it just had me thinking about life and just like how sometimes we negate things. And with doing that, towards the end of the Black History Trailblazers, I lost steam. So the last 2 days, I didn't even upload. I was so disappointed in myself. So I definitely want to work towards better engagement. And the year is still only the beginning of the third month of the year. So guys, we can still make good on those things that we said we were going to make good on. It's just going to take, I think, a little bit more time than I think a lot of us anticipated. And that's just been the reality for me. So this episode, I was trying to think like, oh my gosh, what is going to be my episode? I haven't really had time to really think about, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? Well, first of all, I want to check in and say, how are y'all doing? I hope everyone who's listening to this is having a blessed day, a prosperous day. So, like I said, I was thinking like, what can I talk about? What can I talk about? I am going to drag myself. That's right. For y'all who don't know what drag means, that means I'm going to talk about myself and get myself together. I think a lot of times I get in these spaces, these very negative spaces, because things aren't going the way I want them to go. And I think that breeds a lot of just hateful rhetoric. And I say things that I really don't mean, but I say them anyway. And I act like my life is just, coming to an end when really I have so much more to look forward to, because in these 25 years I've been able to accomplish so much. And I think oftentimes I focus on what I don't have instead of focusing on what I do have. And I think a lot of times that sits in my spirit, and that allows me to be in a very negative space. So I have been in that negative space for a little bit of a funk for a week here, just like, the world is falling down. And I think I did that because I'm getting impatient with the process. And, I've been praying to God. I'm a huge believer. I've been asking God, give me a sign. Let me know that I'm going to be okay. And this whole week, I kid you not, every video I have clicked on, everyone I've talked about, anything that I have really been paying attention to has talked about patience. Even I was watching The Real, so y'all know I want to be a talk show host one day, so I love talk shows. So I haven't been watching The Real a lot, but the episode that I clicked on was the one that they did with Kyle Massey, and he used to be on That So Raven, and he was talking about, his new show. He's going to be on this new show called Millennials, and everything he has going. He's 29 now, and just all this awesome stuff, is going on in his life. And they asked him, they were just like, well, we heard you got your first tattoo. What is your first tattoo? You know what his first tattoo was? Patience. Okay? And that has been the theme. And then Tabitha Brown posted something about patience. And then I was listening to T.S. Madison interview with Flame Monroe. And they were talking, and T.S. Madison's mom, Miss Maddie, got on, and she was just talking about how we get impatient with life and we try to rush God's timing. So, needless to say, and then this morning, Pastor Cosby from Houston at Wheeler, that's who I listen to on Sundays morning, he was talking about that too. He was just talking about blessed reassurance. And he was just speaking on, how Mary and how, with Lazarus, they were like, well, he's dead now, and how upset they were, and how God's timing, God doesn't work on our timing. And he spoke about that and how oftentimes we get impatient and how, frustrated things can be like, where's the help? I need help now. Where are you, God? And we stretch out for things and we're like, why isn't this happening? And it's just like we get so frustrated and just so into things, and God just wants to know, do you trust in me? And that's what made me think about myself. All types of signs of patience, God's timing. I was listening to Arsenio Hall. I'm just gonna stop fixing this shirt. I was listening to Arsenio Hall. He was talking about coming to America, and he was talking about like his life story, and he was talking about God's timing and how God's timing is the perfect timing. And I just kept hearing that theme throughout the week. Every interview I clicked on, everything that was being talked about was all about God's timing and patience. So I just want to share that with you all, the importance of God timings. But in particular, I want to share with y'all a real dragging, because if you know me, you know I love Kev on Stage. He's a big time YouTuber, podcaster, him and his wife, his beautiful sons, handsome sons, excuse me, and they have just like this awesome energy going. So I want to share this video because about what he was talking about with you all, to kind of let you know what's going to be the theme of today. So hold on, guys, let me show y'all. So on this video that y'all are about to see, someone asked Kev on Stage about starting a podcast. So this is what he had to say. Check this out, y'all.
Cereal. You want some true advice? You want the real advice? Huh? Be prepared to do 100 episodes and all them video views and listens be under 100. Can you do that? Can you stick with it for 100 episodes weekly or however your cadence? The biggest thing is, I read a stat, 70%, I just made that part up, but a lot of podcasts don't make it past 7 episodes. Are you willing to do 100 that are great, but nobody sees them? Are you willing to wait to build your audience? Or are you going to see big podcasts and their numbers and be like, I can't do it because I ain't getting those numbers? Can you do 100 straight, no matter what? If you can do that, start your podcast. Also, a lot of times I think people do this. You seen the movie Collateral. Jamie Foxx, he had the postcard. I'm going to get my business together, but first I got to get the limos, and I got to get the licenses, and I got to get the insurance requirements. And when I get all that, and then one day I'm going to start. You know what you're doing? You're planning yourself out of ever starting. You want to hear the truth? We talking real now. You planning yourself out of ever start. You think somehow the camera equipment and the microphones and the studio space will validate you enough, but the truth is you scared. Because I done told you a million times, you can shoot a doggone whole podcast on an iPhone or Android. But the truth.
So y'all gonna hear a little bit more of what he's talking about, but that was just so true. I feel like so many people have so many great ideas, and the number one thing holding them back is the fact that they're not going to be the Google CEO tomorrow. It's not going to be 100,000 followers tomorrow. It's not going to be a million things. And I think even myself, I find myself getting so frustrated because I'm like, oh, okay, like I've been doing this for such and such. Why can't I get any more of this, or I need more views, or I want this, or I want that? When it doesn't matter, because it's going to happen anyway. If you stay consistent with something, it will happen for you. And I think that's what Kev on Stage was trying to say. Like, so many people, like, I think we have this crazy broad idea of success in age and different things. And we see younger people doing things, or Kylie Jenner's a billionaire and she's like 21. And we see all this crazy crap that's just so amazing, and just how God mapped it out for them and how life was for them. And we get so defeated and we're just like, why isn't it happening to me? Why am I taking so long? And I think that's the story for a lot of people who are in my age group, ages probably 24 to 34. We in this little age group, some of us are out of college. We are starting our careers and we want success. We want to be successful. But a lot of being successful is waiting and being patient and knowing your time is coming. And I think a lot of us fall short, and we get these things and we do things like you said on the movie Collateral. Like, we do these things like, oh, when this lines up. I remember a professor told me, if you're waiting till something is perfect, then you'll never start. And I think that's so true. We believe in perfect timing, when it's perfect, when it's this, when it's that. And all that's doing is holding you back. Whatever you want to do, you need to do now with the resources that you have. It will be greater later. And that's something that Pastor Cosby talked about this morning. That's something that my pastor, Vester Thompson, who I listen to a lot, talks about. it will be greater later. It's going to work out. But you got to start. If you don't start now or start with what you have, then what you waiting on? And I think so many of us get in our head where it has to be this, it has to be that. If you have an idea, start working on it now. It will get better and it will develop into things. And if you fail, that's okay. And also, I was listening to the Terrell show. I'm telling y'all, the Terrell show, and he had Eric Bellinger on his show. And Eric Bellinger was just like, if you have an idea, just take the step. Even if it's the wrong step, all you got to do is go in the other direction. But take the step. And I think that's the problem with so many of us have, is that we're waiting on this perfect timing. We're waiting on this timing, waiting on things to be perfect, when you just need to take the step. If it's the wrong step, just go the other way. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try something else. But I think so many of us feel like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this for a month and I ain't lost 100 pounds yet, or I'm not fine yet. And we're just like, I'm over this. I don't want to do it no more. I'm over it, instead of sticking with it and being consistent. And I'm talking to myself right now because I get so easily defeated. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been at this such and such years. I've been doing this such and such years. I've been having this podcast for 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. I don't even think I have 20 episodes. You know why I don't have 20 episodes? Because I'm not consistent. And I'm like, oh, I'll upload an episode and I don't do 1,000 views. I don't want it. And that's just not a way to be. So, and Eric Belger also went on to say in the Terrell show, he went on to say like, how, don't worry about if you're being impatient, the time is going to pass anyway. And I think so many of us are like, I'm going to give up on this idea because it's taking too long. Guess what? The time is going to pass anyway. You're going to have to turn this age. You're going to have to turn this age. Life keeps on passing anyway. So you might as well stay consistent and do what you're good at and feel like what your gift is to the world, and just know that eventually it will all pay off. But instead, no, we get frustrated. We get mad. We get upset. So that's something that Eric said. But yes, okay, so here's a little bit more of what Kev on Stage was talking about. I want y'all to hear.
Is you tell yourself, oh, I gotta get that because you're scared to do it the easy way. Because then if it don't work, you know what you can say? Well, if I had the better equipment, it might work. And guess what? It still might not work. You want to be honest? You want the truth? Most of y'all is scared to do it on the low budget, because then if it don't work, you ain't gonna have no other excuse. That's the truth, guys. I know it when I recognize it. People asking me so they can say, I ain't got the money for that. But if I did, I sure would, and I would have it. And what? I got to give me a Red and a Sony can. I got to give me $1,200. And I'm sure safe for that, I know it. I recognize the excuses. I recognize the excuses. I do them in weight loss. If I ain't have kids, if I could do this, I go to the gym. The truth of the matter is, I don't want to work out, and I want to eat whatever I want. And that's why I look this way. That's the truth. I can lie, I can say whatever. I have the means, I have the time. I just don't want to. I feel better when I buy a workout program. I feel bad when I don't use it. I feel good when I eat Chick-fil-A. I feel bad when I eat kale. That's the bottom line. I recognize the excuses, because when it comes to doggone eating right and working out, I am you. Bottom line is, I don't have the discipline in that area. That's the truth. And the bottom line is, most people don't have the discipline in this area. They see them views and they suck, and they be like, never mind. Now, look at my equipment.
Yes, so Kev on Stage had a word there. But basically Kev on Stage went on to talk about how, like, how his journey started and how he moved to LA. He said 8 years ago, and he's just now upgrading his equipment because it takes time and it's a process. And life is a process, and everything that we want comes with a process. So unless you are Blue Ivy, Northwest, Paris Hilton, somebody that came with it already, then you're going to have to go through the process of life. And I think that's just so essential to so many of us, that we don't have the discipline, we don't have the discernment, we don't have the ethic to just keep going no matter what. We give up far too easy. I give up far too easy, and it's a disgrace because we never know what God has on the other side of it for us, because we give up so fast. And I look at life and I want more for life and I want to do different things in life. And it's going to happen, but you have to stick with it, Faith. And I think I go through that journey a lot with myself in just terms of just really what I want in life and just feeling like, okay, I think that I need to quit this. Or I was telling my mom, honestly, if y'all want to know the truth, before I came to Green Bay, I was just like, Mom, I think I'm getting out of the industry because it's just not happening and I'm supposed to be Oprah and I'm not Oprah yet, so I need to quit. My mom, who's obviously lived a longer life than me, just is so patient with her beloved child. But it's just not reality to have it overnight. And I think that being patient, knowing God's timing, and being consistent and knowing getting up and trying to be better at your craft, don't worry about what other people and fandom and all that stuff will happen. If you look at any celebrity or anybody with anything or any company, when it blew up, everybody got on to look at TikTok. Look at all these things that come into our world. So don't worry about when it's going to pop or how many people. Worry about getting the craft ready. If I'm not consistent now, if God gave me 100,000 viewers, what would I really do with that? Because I don't know. I haven't mastered the craft. I haven't mastered consistency yet. I haven't mastered the idea of constantly researching things and getting stuff ready for the podcast and doing that. But above all things, I have not mastered believing in myself. And I think that will always hold you back. If you always question yourself or question what your existence is and if it's really vital or if you're doing something that's detrimental to society or if you can really be a contributor, you will always be held back. And I think that's so true for me is that I hold myself back a lot because I don't allow myself to believe in what I have and what my gifts are. And I think that's just something that I have to work on and something that I have to know. And I have to hold myself accountable because when things aren't happening in life, knowing, instead of blaming other things or being like, oh, if I had more equipment, or if I had better this, or if this worked, or if I had this, instead of holding myself accountable and being like, no, if you did what you were supposed to do, it would have worked out already. And I think that's so true. We focus so much on other things that really have nothing to do with the rawness of the gift that we lose ourselves. And whatever your gift is, wherever God is taking you in life, know that your gifts will make room for you. If you have the pure talent, if you're a singer out there, don't worry about trying to look like Rihanna and all this extra stuff yet, because it's gonna come a time where you can afford to have that glam team, or else you may figure out that may not be what you want for your image. But do know that whatever you have in life, God will make room for you. If you give him the best, God will figure out the rest. That's one of my favorite quotes. And I think that's just an accountability thing. Instead of blaming things on other factors, we need to look at ourselves and be like, what can I do to maximize my ability? What can I do? If you don't have anything, if you don't have all the fancy things, that's okay, because use what you have to get to you to where you're going. And I think that's what I have to do in focusing in on myself. Like I said, this is a dragging of me. This is about being more accountable. Be more accountable, Faith. I'm really talking to myself, and I'm hoping I encourage someone else out there. Be more accountable with what God has given you and be more accountable for yourself and your actions. If you want to see results, you have to be consistent. You're not going to lose 10 pounds in a month or two or a week for your birthday or however y'all trying to do it. If you know you're going out to brunch and you're not cutting back or anything like that, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then of course it's not going to work out for the things that you think should happen. So I think it's very important that we as people look at ourselves and figure out, okay, this is what I want. This is what I feel like my calling is in life. I want to own an accessories hair store. Okay, I don't have $300,000 to go buy all these accessories. So all you need to do is launch that brand. And if you have 50 little eyeliner pins or little pins for your hair or whatever the little accessory is, you sell those 50. Before you can sell 100,000 something, you gotta sell one. So even if it's just starting with one, I think it matters. And him talking in that podcast, it just was so encouraging to me. And that's just what I've been feeling is in my spirit, is even if it's just one. It's okay. If you start, you know what? Everybody starts with one follower, start with one sale, one this, one that, one listener, whatever your gift is, whatever you feel like you're trying to do. Everybody starts somewhere. Everybody starts at an entry level salary. It's about you willing to stick with it. And even when it gets hard, you keep going. And that's what I have to tell myself. And I'm trying to be more accountable for the things I do. Or even today when I went to brunch, I've been trying to focus on eating better and doing things like brunch and all of that stuff throw me for a loop because I'm like, ooh, what look good? I want to get that. I got a veggie omelet, y'all. I went to brunch and had a veggie omelet. Yes, a veggie omelet with mushrooms, onions, and bell pepper in there because I know that I want to put better things inside of my body. So it starts with making better choices all the time. Because see what happens is, I go to brunch, give me some pancakes, give me a waffle, start on this sugar binge, and before you know it, and it took me 3-4 days to get off the high, and I look back and I'm like, oh my God. Or even yesterday, I was at the grocery store and I was looking at the foods and I was reading, this had 12 grams of sugar, this had, and I was like, oh, I can't get that, that's too much sugar, ooh, because when you start being more accountable and controlling what you can control, it makes a difference in life and it will get you to your goals. So that's what I'm starting to practice. Again, this is not about anyone, this is about myself and me wanting more in my life and me willing to hold myself accountable to know that I can do better and know that things can get better if I stick with it. So that's my message, and I've been thinking about what is the theme of my year, and here we are, March 7th, and I know what the theme of my year is, which is be accountable. It's about being accountable, being more self aware, knowing what you can do. And it's not about being hard on yourself. If you need to have you a little drink or whatever, take you a little break from the pressure, whatever. Ain't no judgment over here. But do know that if you're every time you stop something or every time you take a break from something, you got to start back at square one. So if you're already making baby steps towards your goal, keep going. Keep going because you never know where that next step is unlocking. And you should keep going because you want to look back and be proud of yourself. Even when it's little things, I'm so proud of myself because I did this, because I did that. That is what you want to be. You want to be proud of yourself and you want to be able to say, I stuck with it. I was consistent in something. I didn't give up. That is super important. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on the things that you feel like God is calling you for. It's never going to be easy. Life is hard. Life is unfair. Life gets dramatic. Comes with many hardships. But that's always going to happen. That's why I say things aren't going to ever be perfect. You have to stick with it. Know that God is able. Know that you are more capable, and everything that you need, all the tools that you need are inside. So use what you have. And I know some things are harder than others, but whatever you have in front of you, think about your goal and think, what do I have now that I can apply myself? Even if you have nothing, I'm talking about people that just have the clothes on their back. They don't have anything. They've lost everything. If you have your belief and you are a believer and you believe in yourself, if all you have are intangibles, that's more than enough to get you what you're going and to attract things that will help you on your journey. Rest assured, okay? Rest assured. I don't know why I felt like preaching today, but I did. And it was more about me and just feeling like I need to get back into this. I need to do this. I am going to I said this year I would have 52 episodes because there's 1 week, represents one episode per week. So I have missed 8 episodes. So you know what that means? Somewhere along the line, I'm going to be dropping double because that's the goal I set for myself, and that's what I need to do. I need to get back to basics. Get back to basics. That's what this is about. Getting back to basics and going with what I know and trusting the process. And you know what? It'll all work out. It will all work out, but I have to stick with it. You have to stick with it on this journey. Let's all be accountable. Let's all give our best. Let's all remain patient and knowing that it's all going to be okay together, okay? Let's do this together. I promise you all better days are ahead, and I'm not just saying this because in a selfish way. I'm saying this to everyone that this has been a hard year for us. I feel like a lot of us have suffered a lot of setbacks, but I know that we are going to be okay. This month marks a year since the pandemic started. It's been a hard one. Oh my gosh. but I know that it's going to all work itself out. But we have to go with what we know and be grateful for what we have, and know that if God is pulling you towards something, or if you know you have a gift or whatever that is, whatever you're good at, if whatever people are asking you what you're good at, figure it out and find a way to apply it to life, not just for personal gain, but for you. But not just for personal gain and to increase, financials on your end, but do it because that's your gift to the world. We're all put on earth for one reason. It's some reason that God thought enough and the angels decided to come together and make all these little molecules and put it together and make this human life. So your life matters, and what you have a calling for in life is so important and it's necessary. You deserve it, and who you are is attached to someone else. It might be your children, might be attached to your coworkers, it might be attached, but who you are and your existence is for a reason, and you are necessary. Your existence matters. Someone is counting on you, someone is inspired by you, and you need to pull it together and keep going. And myself also, we need to pull it together, be more accountable, be better, and know that everything we need, God already gave it to us. So that's my message for today, guys. And also, I wanted to say, speaking of life, I wanted to talk a little bit about, not talk a little bit, but just, a mention of Lyric. Lyric is a young, beautiful soul now that is resting up above and watching over us. Lyric was 11 or 12 years old, and she has had brain cancer, and it's been a journey for a year and a half, 2 years. And she was out in Houston, which is the area where I'm from, and a lot of people that have cancer go to Houston because it is the top mecca for medicine, especially cancer research like that. A lot of people go there for the children's hospital to, help save that life. So that's the case with Lyric. She was put on hospice about 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't looking good. And we got the news 2 days ago that she went on to pass away. And Beyonce, of course, sang to Lyric, and they published the video, and it was just so touching. But that's what I mean. Lyric at 11 gave so much inspiration to us. Her life, even though she was so young, she gave so much life to us. She gave a following of so many, and so many people will remember her life and remember her bright smile. I remember watching videos. Her mom posts these amazing videos of her when Lyric was up and dancing, and she was so full of life. And I don't feel sorry for, I don't want to come across as like, oh, look what happened to her. Like, you need to be grateful for life because this could happen. No, but it just shows that in life, it's the little moments. Those little moments that Lyric had of her dancing and singing and little things, that's what matters in life. And all of those little moments inspired so many of us to not only appreciate life, but to be grateful for the moment and grateful to help someone else. And that's what it's all about. You never know what your life will mean. You don't get to determine what your legacy will be. But if you live it up and you do what you're supposed to do and live an authentic experience, you never know who that's going to reach. So although Lyric was so young, she touched so many of us. She touched me for sure. I look forward to her videos and just watching, the unfortunate, she went down, of course, because the cancer got the best of her. But just knowing that her beautiful spirit will always roam around, and just knowing that I was able to really gain, it feels like a little cousin through this. So Lyrics was such a beautiful little spirit, and I know her soul is resting, and I know she's in no more pain. And that's someone that has lost so many people for health reasons. I'm so grateful that I truly believe that they are no longer in pain and they are at peace, and they don't have to roam around with this pain in their body, this agony anymore. So just seeing Lyric's life, that's what I mean. You never get to determine what your legacy will be and who you will mean what to, but you do get to determine how you live every day. So make the best out of it. Be accountable. Go after your dreams. And even when things don't look the way they're supposed to look, know that everyone starts small, and God will bless your territory in due time. But don't be afraid of small beginnings. It'll be greater later. Keep going. Stay on your journey. Stay on your path. Do what you feel you're called to do, and continue to live an authentic experience, you guys. I am done for the day. I have ranted on. I got to edit all this stuff together. But again, 50 more episodes. So what's up? So hang out with me. Be sure to subscribe, guys. Peace and love, and I wish you all the best. And let's stick with it. 2021, what's up? We popping this year for sure.